Everybody, this is a cautionary tale, and I will make it brief, but I was actually going to record this video earlier today, and I was going to wear my Tom Brady jersey. This is a $100 authentic Tom Brady jersey that I personally picked up from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team store per curbside pickup, as I am a season ticket holder. Looks like there's nothing wrong with the front. Looks like there's nothing wrong with the back. I ran this jersey through the washer and dryer. Did I follow the instructions perfectly? No, I did not. Maybe that was a little bit of my fault. I had washed all my other Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys so far up to this point, and I was not worried about it. I thought, okay, there's probably nothing wrong. I've washed all of my jerseys, and I've never had any types of problems with paint chipping off of it or things along those lines, but don't worry, I'll show you something in a second. So I took this jersey out of the dryer, and I noticed a little bit of some problems here. This is the first shoulder pad number. You can see the paint, yeah, it looks a little scuffed, a little bit of scuffing here, a little bit of missing paint right here. That doesn't look very good. That is on the left shoulder blade. This is the right shoulder blade. A lot worse. This is a $100 jersey, and the shoulder blade paint for the number 12 on both of them is ruined. It's completely ruined. Just showing you guys, cautionary tale, follow instructions, $100 down the drain. If anybody has any suggestions for ways to fix this problem, I mean, hey, I may go ask them for a different jersey, who knows, we'll wait and see, but any suggestions, anything creative to maybe try and cover that up. I'm not going to try and repaint it or anything. I thought of the idea of maybe putting patches over the numbers and just having a custom Tom Brady jersey, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. But any suggestions for any way to fix this problem seriously would be greatly appreciated, because that's my first new jersey, man, and I'm an idiot and ruined it, so whoopsie. But anyway, in this video, we are going to be talking about players who have been standing out at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers training camp so far up to this point. They've had about 8 or 9 days worth of practices now, so there are some players that I did want to talk about. But the first chunk of guys I do want to mention, because I know people are going to be asking about them, are going to be all the guys that you expect who have been doing good. Guys like Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Ronald Jones, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Jordan Whitehead, and Vita Vea. Those guys have all been doing good. Now, I'm not going to have information on every single person who has been doing every single thing, okay? We can't be at the training camps. I'm not a member of the media or anything. Wish I was, but I wasn't, and even members of the media are having a tough time going to these practices. So all of this information that I'm going to be talking about in this video today is all coming from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers website per the transcripts of the press conferences that have been going on. Also from the reporting of Carmen Vitale over at Buccaneers.com. So shout out to her. She's been giving her thoughts and takeaways from every single practice so far up to this point. It's also going to be from pewterreport.com. They've been doing a phenomenal job of talking about the things that they've been able to see from practices. So a lot of the information is coming from those two sources, the transcripts from the press conferences, as well as a lot of the YouTube and social media clips that have been posted as well. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's start talking about some of these guys who have been performing in training camp. And the first guy I want to mention is a relatively new addition. It's Lesean Mccoy, the running back. Now, there's a couple of things that have been going on at the running back position for this team, and I will talk about it very, very soon. One thing absolutely broke my heart, and, we will talk about that, but switching back to Lesean Mccoy, one of the biggest things that I've seen reported, and just from what I've seen from video clips that has been so impressive about Lesean Mccoy, is his receiving ability. He's been very crisp in receiving passes from Tom Brady. He's been able to do a very, very good job and show that elusiveness. To paraphrase what Bruce Arians said in a recent press conference when asked about Lesean Mccoy and how he's been doing, Bruce Arians essentially said he's been doing wonderful. If you looked at his time last year during Kansas City, he still looked like the old Shady. He still has that elusiveness. He still has that really good receiving ability. We just have to make sure that he stays fresh. So essentially what everybody's been thinking about Lesean Mccoy has been exactly what's been happening. He still has the ability to show that really awesome receiving skill, show that really awesome elusiveness. It's all just a matter of making sure that he is efficient when he gets the ball and keeping him fresh, because yeah, he is getting a little bit up there in age and he has had injury concerns in the past. So keeping him healthy, keeping him ready to go is going to be very, very important for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers running game this upcoming season. But so far so good. He's been everything that we thought he was going to be. The next player I want to talk about is safety Mike Edwards, who had the honor of being the first player to intercept Tom Brady during a practice. And before anybody freaks out, yes, the quarterbacks throw interceptions during practice. It happens, okay? Trust me, Jameis Winston threw a lot of interceptions. Tom Brady's going to throw a few interceptions. It happens. It's practice. We're not going to freak out about that, okay? But Mike Edwards, just doing the research and seeing all the takeaways that, certain media outlets had on certain days, Mike Edwards' name was mentioned a lot. It seems like he's doing a really good job of breaking up passes, being around in coverage, and getting interceptions whenever he needs to. It seems like he's really making that leap from year 1 to year 2. They had asked Bruce Arians about it. He said, again, to paraphrase, that overall, Mike Edwards was doing a pretty good job. He will definitely be in the mix there. They asked a follow-up question talking about the possibility of having 3 safeties on the field, and Bruce Arians said, yeah, there are certain packages that can have that. It would either be 3 cornerbacks or 3 safeties, and we feel pretty confident in both those groups, whichever ones are needed. So, yeah, Mike Edwards is definitely working his way up into the rotation. Very excited to see what he can do. Was a big fan of Mike Edwards whenever we had drafted him. I expected big things from him, and I think injuries really hampered him last year. He had a couple of nagging things here and there as the season went on. Bruce Arians alluded to this in a recent press conference, and I think when he's healthy, he really can be a very, very versatile player, so it was very good to hear his name coming up a lot when talking about how these training camp practices have been going on so far. The next player I want to mention, again, very exciting, O.J. Howard, who has been really making plays, especially in the red zone. Now, one thing I do want to note is that Tom Brady has almost exclusively been calling O.J. Howard Juice. He just says, hey, nice play, Juice. Good job, Juice. So, do we just call O.J. Howard Juice now? I don't know. I think I'm just going to start calling him O.J. Juice Howard. So, kind of like a middle name type thing. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see if it sticks. But O.J. Howard has been playing pretty good. Now, I talked about it earlier. Rob Gronkowski, of course, he's Rob Gronkowski. We expect good things from him. But to see O.J. Howard bounce back after some of the struggles that he had last season, in terms of confidence issues, not being able to show up in certain types of situations, things along those lines, I'm very, very happy to see that he is doing some really awesome things in building that chemistry with Tom Brady, because that's going to be huge. He's going to be another piece in that machine that is going to be this Tampa Bay Buccaneers passing game, and I really think that he can be a big piece. I think that with the addition of Rob Gronkowski, it's going to be huge, but also I think it's going to help out O.J. Howard, get more opportunities for him as well, and I think we are going to see a bit of a new, rejuvenated type of O.J. Howard, a little bit different from last year. I think we're going to see the O.J. Howard that we saw whenever he first came to the team, where he was just making phenomenal plays and just had insane athleticism. And I think a lot of that comes with a new, rebuilt confidence of working with Tom Brady and working with Rob Gronkowski. So very, very excited to see O.J. Howard do some things. Cameron Brate's been doing a few things as well, which we always expect. But yeah, O.J. Howard, Gronk, and Cameron Brate in the red zone, that's tough for any defense. So yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. One thing I do want to say, the most impressive player on the offensive side of the ball so far up to this point, in my opinion, has been Scotty Miller. I have seen so many clips of Scotty Miller, and I've seen so much reported of Scotty Miller. The guy is on fire. Okay, he is doing some absolutely amazing things. He's catching so many deep balls. He's doing so many awesome things. He's making big catches. He's catching the deep ball. He's a deep threat. He's actually making some snags here and there, some one-handed stuff. He's doing everything. It's absolutely awesome to see. He has been building a ton of chemistry with Tom Brady so far up to this point. Tom Brady's nickname, potentially, for Scotty Miller right now is Scooter. Will it stick? I don't know. I may call him Scooter Scotty Miller because that sounds pretty good. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely writing that one down. Juice for O.J. Howard, Scooty, Scotty Miller. That one could definitely stick. But Scotty Miller's been phenomenal so far. And I know a lot of Bucs fans definitely called that. Shout out to the boys over at the Loose Cannons. They really did call that one. It's awesome to see. And I know a lot of people have made the comparisons between Julian Edelman and Scotty Miller, and it's fine. I do understand why that is a thing, but they did ask Bruce Arians about that. And again, to paraphrase, in a recent press conference, he had said, well, They are similar in some ways, but Scotty Miller is not one of our slot guys. He does play in the slot sometimes, but we primarily have him on the outside, and Chris Godwin usually plays in the slot, and we are not taking those slot catches away from Chris Godwin. So I think it's safe to say, yeah, they're not really the same type of guy. And, you know, fair credit, Julian Edelman, he is a little bit taller. He probably is a little bit stronger than Scotty Miller, but Scotty Miller is definitely way faster than Julian Edelman. So I'm very excited to see this lineup of Mike Evans on the outside, Chris Godwin in the slot, and then Scotty Miller on the outside. That could have some really awesome potential there. Obviously, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are phenomenal, but Scotty Miller is the deep ball threat. That should be a lot of fun to see. So, Scotty Miller, so far up to this point, there's been a lot of impressive guys on offense, but in terms of somebody who's really jumping off, jumping out at you, Scotty Miller's that guy on the offensive side of the ball right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are very excited to hear that. On the defensive side of the ball, one person I do want to talk about, Parnell Motley, the undrafted free agent cornerback who a lot of people were excited about when I talked about him in my undrafted free agent video. He picked off Tom Brady and Ryan Griffin during one day of practice, and he's been doing some pretty good things. They asked Bruce Arians about it in a press conference, and he had said he can do some interesting things at the cornerback position, but right now he's definitely going to be used in a special teams role. That's where he's going to have to find his niche, essentially. So it seems like he's really not going to go ahead and fight for any of those starting cornerback jobs. That's to be expected. I thought with the release of MJ Stewart, maybe there was something that could potentially be there for Parnell Motley to work his way up, but it seems definitely like Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and even Mazzy Wilkins to a certain degree have all had those top 4 cornerback spots locked down. Parnell Motley, while he's doing some interesting things in practice as a cornerback, he's going to have to work his way onto special teams first and then continue to work and grow as a cornerback as practices in this season goes on. Will he make the roster? Still not 100% sure. We'll have to wait and see, but Bruce Arians, he definitely made it clear that yes, while he is doing some interesting things at the cornerback position, special teams is definitely still where he's going to need to prove himself. So still very interesting. Finally, the last player I'm going to be talking about is, in my opinion, the most impressive player on the defensive side of the ball. It is rookie safety Antoine Winfield Jr., and I'm not just saying this because of bias. You guys know all how much I love Antoine Winfield Jr. I'm such a huge fan of his. I really do feel like we got a first-round draft pick value when we took him, and I will not back down from that statement. He's been showing up and looking better every single day from what I've seen reported, from what I've seen in the clips. Just, it seems like everybody is really impressed with Antoine Winfield Jr. right now. He's getting better every single day, and he's really showing his ball hawking ability. He's been around the ball a ton in practice, which is awesome. You know, we just talked about Mike Edwards earlier at the safety position. I would not be surprised if Antoine Winfield Jr. is a starting safety this upcoming season for the Buccaneers. And again, to paraphrase Bruce Arians in a recent press conference, because they did ask about him, they had said that, you know, again, he is looking better every single day and that he should compete for a starting safety job very quickly for this upcoming season, to paraphrase Bruce Arians, his answer on that. So, yeah, what's going to happen with this safety position? Because you have Mike Edwards, you have Jordan Whitehead, you have now Antoine Winfield Jr., who has been awesome. You also have Andrew Adams, the veteran. Some people are still mentioning Justin Evans. I just want to say this now, and I will give the exact quote for this one because it blew my mind when I heard it. Somebody had asked about a recent timetable return for Justin Evans. I'm going to be making a video talking about this, but Bruce Arians had said, you'll need to ask Jesus. I do not know, which is never a good answer to give when somebody is potentially trying to return from an injury. I'm going to have a whole separate video talking about that, but yeah, essentially, if you really break it down, I know Dakota Dixon's in there as well, but just from what I've been seeing reported, I think right now the pecking order of the safety position, I would honestly consider putting Antoine Winfield Jr. at the top at this point. I would say it would go him, definitely a toss-up between Mike Edwards and definitely, a toss-up between Jordan Whitehead. Both those guys have been phenomenal, and Bruce Arians, again, had said in a recent press conference that Jordan Whitehead had been doing some pretty good things. He's getting a little bit smarter. He's getting a little bit bigger. He's doing Jordan Whitehead things, which is always pretty decent. So I would have Antoine Winfield Jr. probably as our best, maybe our best safety right now. Who knows? Toss up between Mike Edwards and Jordan Whitehead, Andrew Adams, and Dakota Dixon somewhere below those. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how the rest of this safety group shakes out. It seems like a lot of guys are doing a lot of good things, but Antoine Winfield Jr., I'm biased. I don't care. He's my boy. I want to see him succeed because it's awesome. Okay. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. As training camp progresses and as things continue to trickle out of the grapevine, I guess, so to speak, I will have more videos like this coming out as we progress. But, yeah, I have a few more videos coming out talking about a recent signing, talking about some injury news and things along those lines. But, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, hey, if anybody has any suggestions on what to do about that jersey, would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.